So whenever you're looking to sell these potential face planning rookies, people always default to selling for draft picks. They want to re-roll and get another young player. I get it. It makes sense. But it's really hard to do. Most people won't give up that player's value in straight up draft picks. The trick that I found that works a lot more effectively is flip those potential face planners for veterans. Selling them for draft picks, people are too smart for that. So if you're looking to sell someone like Denzel Mims, his value in rookie picks should be worth a late first, early second. It's near impossible to get that from anyone. Instead, I like to flip to trying to acquire veterans. Buying veterans this time of year is actually quite easy. Nobody's looking at setting their lineups for another 8 months. They aren't concerned about points right now. They're concerned with retooling their team and with getting young talent either through the draft or through trade. On the other side of the coin, people are looking to unload their veterans to kickstart the rebuild. It's near impossible to get fair value in draft picks for your aging veterans as well. If you have one worth, say, a late first or early second, it's really hard to get that from another owner this time of year. That means we have people trying to unload young face planners for late firsts and early seconds, and we have people trying to unload veterans for late firsts and early seconds. See where I'm going with this? It's a perfect match. People can't unload their young guys, and people can't unload their veterans for draft picks because nobody's selling draft picks. Swap them for each other. Find the guy that wants to get younger that's selling a veteran. One of my favorite veteran targets right now at the wide receiver position is Julio Jones because, of course, he's one of the best wide receivers we've ever seen. A lot of people think he's washed right now. I think probably because he battled injuries and his end-of-season stats are poor. Last year, he ended up with 51 receptions on 68 targets for 771 yards and 3 touchdowns. But he only played in 9 games. So that's 85.7 yards per game. Equates to a pace of 1,370 yards over a full 16 games. I don't really like doing projections like that. Like it's unfair, but it's a nothing projection, so it's fine. But here's where it gets really exciting. Julio left 2 additional games with injury where he only played 23 and 40% of the snaps. In the 7 games he played 80% or more, he had 700 receiving yards right on the nose. That's 100 yards a game. You've probably already done the math. That's 1,600 yards for a season. Stephon Diggs was the NFL leader in receiving yards this year. He had 1,535 yards. Julio outpaced him. Davante Adams led the NFL with 98.1 receiving yards per game. Julio outpaced him. Julio's points per game was 16.2, which was good for wide receiver 14 in points per game. Again, though, if we remove the 2 games he barely played this year, that number jumps to 19 points per game. That would have put him at wide receiver 4 behind Davante Adams, Tyreek Hill, and Stephon Diggs. That's elite territory. That is fantasy league winner territory. You need fantasy league winners on your team in Dynasty, regardless of how old they are. Usually, the older they are, the cheaper they are, and you're only looking for a year or 2 of production from these guys anyways. So go get them. They're not expensive. But I guess the question is, was Julio actually any good? Or was he just, collecting some targets because he's Julio Jones and he's got a brand and those guys collect targets until they're out of the NFL? Julio was really freaking good. He was number 13 in PFF grade. He was 4th in the NFL in yards per run. Julio is who we thought he was. And based on their ADP and Dynasty League Football ADP, Mims was going at wide receiver 38. Julio is going at wide receiver 36. If the owner in your league is trying to get a bit younger, there's a good chance you can make this deal. In fact, I'd say not making this deal is actually a disservice to your Dynasty squad. You need to win every year. The way to win is draft players, hope you hit a home run, and if you don't, flip them for veterans that can help you win now.